Hello everyone, in honor of Titans coming to an end, I decided to do a re-review in this case, of Titans Season 3. I went over Titans Season 3 when it first came out. It was around the time when my MacBook died, so I edited that through my iPhone. I wanted to revisit the season and do a new review that's more akin to my Titans Season 1 and 2 reviews. And I have to say, in retrospect, this season still is probably my favorite season. There's a lot of things that holds back Titans as far as the writing and the story. It's a shame because it's almost like a tragic show in a way, a cult show where it has so much potential, but it didn't quite fully live up to that potential, even though we got moments of that potential. That being said, Season 3 is a season where Titans found its footing. I enjoyed Seasons 1 and 2. I saw them on Blu-ray at the start of the pandemic. And Season 3 was moving from DC Universe to HBO Max. And you could tell it's been on HBO Max with the budget, the soundtrack, the cinematography. As I said in my first review, this season was a huge step up from Season 2. This season felt more focused. It felt like they found their footing and they had more focus on what story they were going to tell. Also, the Titans are starting to act like a team. Raven and Beast Boy take a bit of a step back, but I have to say the new additions more than make up for it. Savannah Welch as Barbara Gordon and Curran Walters as Jason Todd Red Hood are the MVPs this season. Savannah Welch did such an amazing job as Barbara Gordon, and I like seeing this incarnation of her. You know, she's very reminiscent of the Commissioner Gordon from Bat and Beyond. And Red Hood, Curran Walters, was a mix of Troy Baker in Arkham Knight and Jensen Ackles in the Under the Red Hood film. His team up with Scarecrow reminded me very much of Arkham Knight. We have Vincent Kartheiser as Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow. I would have loved to see him in his costume, but he played more of a wacky, weed-smoking Jonathan Crane. A bit more manipulative and psychotic as well. Something about Vincent Kartheiser in this season reminded me very much of Fisher Stevens. But of course, the season starts off, we get to see the Titans working as a team, bringing down a bad guy, Starfire. Anna Jope as Starfire gets to finally have her costume. Beast Boy, Superboy, they all have their moments. Nightwing, he's more playful. It's that Dick Grayson we know and love from the comics. We get to see Jason Todd. He's back with Bruce Wayne at the Batcave. He left the Titans at the end of Titans Season 2. He wants to take on the Joker, and he's killed. You get that famous crowbar scene. Although I do wish sometimes the rights with Warner Brothers and DC that we would see characters. You don't really get to see the Joker's face, but we get the death of Jason Todd. This sends Batman into a frenzy. We learn off-screen that, like, Alfred died, Commissioner Gordon died from hypothermia. He had a heart attack with Mr. Freeze's ray gun. So Bruce has gone through a lot of loss, and this is a very different incarnation of Bruce Wayne, a much more broken, weak version of Bruce Wayne. But I love it because it's almost like, what if the Adam West version basically got older in a more gritty world? Titans is like any other DC show where sometimes it may not be exactly like the comic, but they do take elements from it, and it's an Elseworlds tale in many ways. And I love seeing Dick Grayson having to check up on Bruce Wayne and even calling him out on certain things of like how much of a sociopath he truly is, you know? If he can't handle being Batman, he shouldn't be Batman. And we get that famous ending where he kills the Joker and says, "Be a better Batman than I was." So that pretty much sets the Titans on a mission. We learn there's a new enemy, the Red Hood. They recreate that scene from the cartoon perfectly. And of course, it's Jason Todd. A little bit of this is rushed, of course. In retrospect, I was like, I wish Jason Todd was more of a villain and wouldn't be forgiven as easily. But when you rewatch it, you see that he was manipulated through fear, you know, by the Scarecrow. And that's something that Vincent Kartheiser does really well as Jonathan Crane, is that he seems like, yeah, I'm just like smoking weed and being cool and stuff, and don't worry about me. But he's doing that to basically get close to Jason Todd and destroy him psychologically. He's manipulating him. It's a puppet. As Bruce Wayne says in a dossier later in the season, you know, he uses patsies, he uses henchmen to do his dirty work. He doesn't get his hands dirty on his own. So that's one cool thing that we get to see in this. And then Curran Walters acting, going through from Jason Todd wanting to get over fear, but then succumbing to it, dying, getting over death, and becoming this other creature of the Red Hood. I love seeing the relationship he has with his friend. That stuff is great. And then we also have Damaris Lewis as Blackfire. And this is very different because I thought Blackfire was going to be the villain this year. And it's like, no, she's a hero. So there's some conflict with her and her sister Starfire. We get some cool Tamaranian history. I like her relationship with Superboy. That's interesting. We get a lot of stuff in Gotham City, working with GCPD, CNV, who I still think might be Amanda Waller, or working for her with Argus. And we get that famous scene where Hawk is dead, and Alan Ritchson gives his best performance as Hank in this season. By far, I love the scene with him and Minka Kelly. Episode 3 was like something straight out of The Dark Knight. Some of the best moments of Titans in this season. And Raven isn't really shown until episode 9. Souls, still my favorite episode to this day. She's trying to resurrect Donna Troy. And we get that amazing episode in the underworld. Her and Hank get to have some great scenes. Even poke fun at her death. Connor Leslie once said, a spade's a spade. Just call it what it is. Yeah, her death wasn't the brightest way to go out, but I love how they bring her back. How they introduce a new character of Tim Drake, who we all know is going to be the third Robin. Jay Lersogo plays him perfectly in this. He was one of the goons in the Batman, and now he's Robin, so how cool is that? Yeah, Donna Troy's old for him, but Bernard is just fine in season 4. But I love the kind of like aunt and nephew element that Tim Drake and Donna Troy have. Seeing Donna Troy with the sword, how they hinted at Troya. I wish we got to fully see that, but it's nice seeing where she is on her journey helping the Titans, but then also carving a path of her own. I love seeing the relationship between Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. I love seeing their flashback. She's a very different Barbara Gordon, kind of breaking the law and rules a bit. That Lady Vic episode is amazing, what they did with the stunt team and with Savannah Welch with her disability doing the stunts. Like, that was just amazing how they did that. It was, that wheelchair fight is just one of the coolest, most badass moments. And I like seeing all the nods to the comics and other films, whether it's the Adam West Show, whether it's Mr. Freeze's Lair, the Frosty Ice Cream Factory, different things like that. There are some episodes in the later half that do feel like a bit of filler, that feels like they're stretching it out. Moments that just kind of get on your nerves, like I said in my first review about Nightwing getting killed and then coming back later. But I love seeing Guard transform into a bat. And there's a lot of setup for the team, for this new Teen Titans, for the new Titans. And I have to say, upon rewatching Titans Season 3, my score is a bit higher. I still give it a 4 out of 5, but it's an A. Almost an A+. It's an A. It was a really good season, and it works better when you binge it just straight through instead of watching it weekly. I know a lot of people have problems with the show Titans, but, despite its flaws, the good, I think, outweighs the bad, and I love this season with the Scarecrow. You do get some nods to Jonathan Crane's mask. I wish we got to see it, but overall, me being a Batman fan, there was just a lot of cool Batman moments, and it was nice seeing the team. I just wish Dick Grayson or Superboy wouldn't go it alone. The team is always at its weakest when they try to do stuff on their own instead of working together, as we see in 3 and 4. But Season 3 was a fun ride. Revisiting this, I enjoyed this season a lot. The humor also landed in many ways. I still think it would have been cool if they had Purple Rain by Prince at the end, but still, I love how they ended it off, and then listening to The Cure with them going on the road trip. If they weren't picked up for another season, this would have been a solid end to the show, I think. This season took some very big swings, and I think that it landed most of them. The fact that they did this during a COVID pandemic, it just had a lot of cool moments, and I think also they were able to not only have the team together, but they had different moments with different characters having their own episodes. And that's when Titans is at its strongest, is when you get to explore more of characters or put characters who are normally not together and see their interaction. I never knew I needed a Donna Hank episode until Souls. Episode 10 was awesome. The fight with GCPD and how corrupt it is and how they betrayed the Titans. All that reminded me of Dark Knight Rises and Batman Arkham Knight, but put into the world of Teen Titans, and that was so cool. I would have loved to see what the future held, for Ra's al Ghul, Argus, Roy Harper being shown, Troya, but with this show coming to an end, I'm just thankful that we had these characters, and some of these actors played these characters for the very first time, so I don't know when we're going to see these characters next time, but for Season 3, it still is a fun ride, and probably one of my favorite seasons up there with Season 1. I hope you enjoyed this re-review. And in the meantime, you can check out my other review if you want to see my initial thoughts. And check out my review for Titans Season 1 and 2, and be on the lookout for Season 4, and I'm going to have a video going over my top 10 episodes. Anyway, for new subscribers and old, let me know what you thought about Titans Season 3 down in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Till next time.